Hey guys, V. Ragone, Max, high performance real estate entrepreneur. This video, we're talking fire. Do you got the fire? There's a whole movement called fire. We're not talking about that movement. We're out just talking about, do you got the fire in the belly? So if you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, some questions, some criticism. Hey, I love the criticism too. It makes me laugh. Honestly, I do not get pissed off. I just laugh. So let's get into it. Do you got the fire, the passion, the drive, the kahunas on top of it? Or is it just, well, it's another day. I'm just going to get up and go to work. And, I'm going to do what they want me to do there. And, I'm just going to trade that time for money. And then when I get home, I don't know, I'm going to take the dog for a walk, see the kids. If you got kids, if you got a dog. Or I'm going to hit the bar on the way home, hang out with the boys, the girls, whatever. Is that the fire? No. That's the 80-90%. And for this conversation, we're going to talk about the 80%, because if you can get your ass into the 20% of the world, I don't care where you're at in the 20% of the world, you're going to be in really good shape. No one says you got to be in that 1%. No one says you even have to be in the 2%. Just figure it out so you can get yourself into that 20%. That 20%. I'm telling you, that's what you got to think about. And the problem is that everybody, they want to dream about it. It's like buying a lottery ticket. Oh yeah, now, if you notice, you don't dream about winning the lottery unless you actually buy the ticket. But once you buy that ticket, you start thinking about yachts and houses and airplanes and all this shit that's in that top 20%. You start thinking about that stuff. It's just like, oh yeah, that'd be nice. Oh yeah, I was going to win. But nobody has the fire to win the lottery because you have no control over it. You just get the daydream. There's a difference between dreaming big and freaking daydreaming. Daydreaming means that it's not coming true. You're just wasting some time out in the fantasy world. Thinking big, having the fire, the passion, the drive, the excitement, the perseverance to get through it. That's where you got to be at. That's the money shot. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. Yes, you can win the game by throwing the Hail Mary pass every once in a while, right? When you're watching football, they throw that Hail Mary pass, or the guy who throws that basketball from the from the halfway mark and from mid court, and he drops it in. But how often is that going to happen? That's like buying a lottery ticket, so to speak. But you got to plan this out. You got to have the fire, the passion. You got to say to yourself, I'm tired of this bullshit. I don't want to live like the man wants me to live. And for all you X-Gen and Z-Gen, the man is the person you're paying your taxes to. The man is the person you're paying the mortgage to. It is a metaphor for all those things you have to pay in order to survive in this world. And if you don't, you're going to be living on the street, looking for a handout from the man. So figure it out. Get the passion, get the drive. I can't put that in you. You've got to do it for yourself. You've got to say to yourself, hey, I want this more than I want anything else in my life right now. And then the people around you have to respect that drive. They have to respect it. Now, you have to be practical. You can't be stupid, but you have to understand that you need this. It's like breathing. If you don't succeed, how do you breathe? And that's the way it is. And that's how you get into that top 20%. That's how you get in even that higher air that's in the top 10%, is by having that drive, that passion. So that, why do you need that? Because you got to delay gratification. You can't just go and do all the things you like to do that you've been doing since you were 14, 15 years old, 16 years old. And if you do, nothing's going to happen except the same shit that happened yesterday. Now, people say, hey, why are you always yelling? I don't know. It's just the tenor of my voice. I don't know what to tell you. But the bottom line is that if you want to get to that 20%, if you want to live life like nobody else lives it, except those people in that top 20%, you got to do what those people do that got there. And that means you got to live your life with some discipline, you focus, drive, perseverance. I keep saying it over, right? You're like, well, didn't he just say those words? Absolutely. But that's the fire. That's what gets you up in the morning. That's what keeps you working until 12 o'clock at night is the fire. And if you don't have that fire, you're not going to do it. The first game that comes up, the first birthday party of a buddy or a friend or somebody, and I'm not talking about missing your kids' birthdays. I always have to throw that in there. I'm not talking about missing your parents' birthdays. You might be a little late, but I'm not talking about missing them. I've been late to many a birthday party because I was cleaning out an apartment building or a house or a rental property of any kind and all kinds. And they're like, where's Vic? Well, he's coming. And that's, we got to have the fire, the passion. Now, you got to live your life, but your life is just all about what you want, what you're trying to accomplish. Now, people will say, well, that's pretty selfish. Well, what about the other people in your life? Don't they come where they come? They come along for the ride. Because when you're successful and you're in that top 20% and you jump into that top 10%, let me tell you, there ain't nobody going to complain to you that you used to work too hard. Because why? Because they're on vacation with you. They're traveling with you and you're paying the bill. If you can't pay every bill on every meal you go out with a friend, relative, you should be the one paying the bill. But you got to be in a position to do that. That comes from the fire. That comes from the passion, the drive. Now, yes, you got to figure out what you want to do. What's your vehicle of choice to success, right? What are you going to drive there? Is it going to be small business? Are you going to be buying businesses? Are you going to be buying restaurants? Are you going to be buying rental properties, apartment buildings? What is your vehicle? But be passionate about it once you figure it out. And sometimes you got to jump from one vehicle to the next. You know, just because you pick, I don't know, laundromats, if laundromats start to suck, that doesn't mean you sit there and suck with it. You get out of it and do something else. But make sure that it's not you that's sucking, it's the industry changed. That's right. Because industries do change. And so you have to be able to adjust and then move to something else. Now, I choose real estate. I choose restaurants. Those are the primary things in which we build wealth with. And so what your choice is, it might be laundromats. It might be those private mailbox companies, you know, whatever it is, if it's, you know, but you got to do it. Now, I always say if you can buy something, you're much better off buying it than you are trying to start it. That's a different conversation, but you got to have the fire, the passion. It'll keep you up. It'll keep you working. It'll keep you driving forward. It'll keep you that when the people are saying, nah, it's not going to work, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they might, you know what? They might actually be right. What you're doing right now, even if you got the fire, may not work. But if you got the fire, then something else will work. Because, you know, just because you start to get into something and you got the fire doesn't mean you're going to succeed at it. It may just suck. It might be like on Shark Tank where they come out there and they got the fire, but they got the wrong vehicle. And Mr. Wonderful's telling them, what is he telling them? He's telling them to go home and burn the idea. Don't spend one more minute, one more time, any of your time to do this. But then they move to something else and they become wildly successful. Why? Because they got the fire in the belly, right? And why do they say in the belly? Because it's about as deep inside of you as you can get. That's where it's coming from. It actually, bigger than where in the heart, bigger than in the brain. When it's in the belly, when it's on fire, you gotta do it. And if the industry's telling you no, if the industry changes on you, if the government rules change on you, all kinds of crap can change. Technology, then get off of that and get onto something, because the fire is about success. The fire is about financial independence. The fire isn't because I want to own all the laundromats on the north side of Chicago or all the laundromats in Vegas or anything like that. No, that's not the fire. The fire has to be, I want to be independent. I want to be financially free. There's the fire. Don't totally tie your fire up with an idea or an opportunity, because if it sucks, it sucks. Your fire has to be above all that. You choose the vehicle, you get in. If the vehicle breaks down, get into a different vehicle. Does that make sense? But the passion is there. The drive is there. The I don't give a shit is there. I do it or I die is there. That's the fire. And if you can figure that out, I can't teach it to you. I can try to help you identify it a little bit, but it's got to be inside of you. Otherwise, you know what? Get up to work tomorrow, take a shower, whatever you do, get to work, punch in the clock. But if you're on salary, you don't punch a clock. That just means you work more hours for less money. Trade your time for money. Try to make the greatest amount of money for the time you're trading. Spend 40 years doing that, 40 hours a week, and you'll be like most Americans. You'll live on less than 40%. But if you got the fire and you got the passion and you got the drive and the excitement and the fortitude and the perseverance, then you got a different path to follow. So get on that path. Start thinking big. Start now and grow fast. V. Rigoni, Max, high performance real estate entrepreneur. Talk to you soon. Let's get out there. Let's make it happen and do it with some passion. Do it with some fire, baby.